This video, I'm going to be breaking down the Kentucky Wildcats offensive playbook in college football 26. Now, if you guys are watching this video and you're looking to take your college football game to the next level, make sure that you join our school community. I'll put a link to that in the description. If you enjoy the video, you'll love our school site. It's where you get access to all of my complete offensive, defensive, full offensive and defensive ebooks for both college football and Madden. It's $10 to join, and it gets you an entire library of offensive, defensive schemes that you can have a lot of success with. So if you want to sign up for that, that is going to be in the description down below. Now we're going to be taking a look at the Kentucky offensive playbook here in college football 26. It's got a lot of really cool formations. It's got some nice, kind of bubblegum type formations. I'd love to have, things like the jet touch pass, the fake jet pass power, just a simple, quick scheme here, just to be able to kind of have, some good plays. It has this Z spot that has kind of some unique routes within that. It also has, some different motions and things like that. But anyways, as you're going kind of through this, you have the stack halfback weak formation that has the play fade out and the play curl switch, which are really, really good plays in this game. So you have some good plays over here. You have the stack Y off where you have a quarterback counter, which is kind of a cool play. Again, I love to do that from some of these, formations that aren't necessarily going to be my main formation. I love to have just kind of some bubblegum stuff. You also have this Y off trips nasty. This is an absolute money formation in this year's game. You want to have the RPO read Y flat, the inside zone, the dagger whip, and the PA double post. Just a great little four-play mini scheme right there. You do have the formation Y off trips, which is cool. What's nice about it is it has the short post on the outside. It also has a nice seam streak and crosser, which is going to help you beat cover two in this game. If we go over to the trips tight end offset formation, some things we can get accomplished here is we have the verticals, the PA crossers, which are really, really good plays in this game. You also have the ability to run either the speed option, the bubble screens, all of that kind of stuff. But you also have the play, which I think is a super good play, the just the simple level sail. And what makes this play really good is just the corner route on the tight end is a route that you can't really hot route. You also can kind of quick snap that play as well out of level sail. You don't really need a lot of adjustments to make it a good formation and a good play. You have this trips Y over with the halfback dive. This halfback dive from this formation is really good this year. And you do have the ability to get an RPO read bubble, which these are the best RPOs, in my opinion, in the game. So you have some cool stuff out of that. You have this trio unbalanced, so again, some other stuff. But what really makes this playbook tick is you have this bunch strong offset and you have the bunch spread nasty. Now, what's cool about the bunch strong offset formation is you have a cheat motion play that you can put in your main plays here. Motion PA will cross is one of the best plays in this game. You also have the ability to have the RPO or the duo run, depending on what you want. You have corner strike here, and then you kind of have a decision to make as far as your other play. I really like dagger. I think dagger is just a great play this year. So I like having the ability to have, some money plays out of that. But then you also have this bunch spread nasty, and this is the only playbook in the entire game that has a bunch spread nasty formation. This is a really good formation in Madden, and it is a really good formation in college football. As far as audibles go from this, you really can kind of do whatever you want in terms of an audible scheme around here. I think seam divide is a great play. You kind of want to have that. One of the better runs in the game is this outside zone out of the bunch spread nasty. It's kind of similar to a bunch tight end outside zone. And then this play, Z swirl in, this is just a really nice play to be able to kind of freestyle out of and make some good plays out of. And then really this last one is kind of up to you, just in terms of what you want. I really like the orbit shallow cross just because you have a nice kind of slot fade, unique route over there on the right-hand side. So I'm going to kind of build around that. And we'll show you some plays here in just a minute. You also have this bunch open offset. This one's all right. I don't really use it a ton, but it does have some decent plays. One of the better ones being Flood here, that you can kind of get some good stuff out of Flood, out of Wide Trail. You have a little RPO if you want to use that. And then you have some of these unique motions and things like that. The spread, not really too crazy about spread this year. The trio wide open is cool as well. But really this formation or this offense is all about this bunch spread nasty. Now the play we're going to be going out in is the orbit smash whip, because it has a really unique route on the right side. It has some really unique routes in general, but specifically it has a double post route, which you don't really see from a lot of formations in this year's game. So what I'm going to show you here just real quick is I'm just going to be in a basic cover 4 coverage, and we're going to talk through, a couple of the routes in this play. So first and foremost, I'm going to pretty much adjust the majority of the routes. What makes this formation also really good is the fact that in college football, your hash marks are so wide that you kind of prefer to have a slot receiver over here on the left side, because if he's out here, right, there's not really much space for him to work to that sideline. So by having him in a slot receiver position, now you're able to really use the entirety of the field over there on the left side, and you get the slot receiver route tree, which is really, really good. So I'm just going to run a simple setup here, just a high-low read on the left with a backside post, and I want you to see how this kind of post kind of runs. It's a super sharp cut, and we're going to start off the play with an interception because we didn't put anything underneath on that yellow zone. But I'll show you here real quick. So we'll just run through and put a running back on an in route or something. But what you'll see is late in this play, you see how you can kind of throw this post in a really unique position against the defense. Now, what's nice about this post route is, let's say they do run like a cover 3 type of coverage. What you'll see from the post is that it cuts sharp enough to where it is going to give you decent separation against man, but it's also got a kind of at an angle that's going to make it really good for bombing a cover 3, or at least getting a big play down the field against a cover 3 coverage. Now, this is also a good route in terms of some of the man-to-man beating capabilities that it does have to the inside here. So obviously man coverage here a little crazy. So, kind of take that with a grain of salt. But a lot of times you'll see he'll kind of bend, and then you see how he cuts inside and you can cut it off as a user catch. I think that is a super big piece of, being able to just consistently attack man coverage in this year's game. Now, the other thing about this post is we can kind of, again, like I said, build around it. So one of my favorite setups would be to do this, just simple double drags. Real quick little tip is a lot of these plays come with stock pass protection. As you see here, the stock pass protection on this play is to half slide to the left. This is not effective. What you want to do is you want to reset that by putting your pass protection on base. That is going to be the best pass protection in terms of just a stock good pass pro in the game. But you see here we have kind of a double drag setup where we're able to do a really good job of, kind of out leveraging man. I'll tell you, one of my favorite combos in this game is literally this right here. One of the other reasons why this is such a good combination is because you could also leave this orbit motion on. And so when you leave this orbit motion on, you're going to see here that it can create a man switch with the linebackers. You'll see this running back kind of float out here to the right side, and you see that we can just throw this quick swing pass against man coverage. If I get a little better pass lead there, that could potentially be, something that you have against man-to-man. But then it also creates, like I said, kind of a little bit of just almost like a potential for a man swap. And if you watch this tight end here, you're going to see that between the tight end and the post, somebody is going to get open against man coverage, provided we're able to actually catch the ball. So, that is a nice little kind of base play here that I like out of this. Real simple play, but this post route is really, really good. You just get that nice, almost double post-like separation against a lot of coverages. This is going to be able to you can kind of build around this as well. So another play setup that I really like out of this is to go with a essentially left side type of concept. So what we're going to do on this left side is we're going to run a streak to the solo receiver. We're going to run a drag to the tight end, and we're going to run a return route here to this outside. You can leave the running back on the orbit motion, or you can block him. That is up to you. But what this is going to do is it just creates kind of a left side attack where we're going to be able to attack the defense in a variety of ways. Now, again, one of the reasons why I like this defense so much, one of the reasons why I like this offense so much is because you're going to get a nice clear out from the solo receiver, especially in college football, because in college football, he is going to be right on the numbers or just slightly inside. So he's going to clear out quarters, and he's going to clear out outside third. So you see here, I can kind of just wait on this, throw this in the soft spot of the defense, as you kind of see right there. Now we have just, again, this game is all about high-low reads, right? That is so, so key. So you want to have high-low reads. This drag is going to kind of cross, and then the return route does a really good job. If the yellows bail back, that drag gets in a really nice, or that return route gets in a really nice spot against, kind of a standard cover 4 type of coverage, which is another reason why I really like this play. Another thing that's really nice about this play is it does have this kind of unique tight end corner route type of deal that you have here on the right side. And with your new hot routes, you can actually create some cool stuff. So what I like to do with this is you could either streak the slot receiver or you could put him on a return route and stem him up once. But basically, we're just going to have a kind of post with a backside drag and a corner route. What this is going to do a good job against is really just giving us something that kind of high lows again in the middle of the field. So you see how good the drag is, just getting underneath of everything. If the user bails back to go guard the post route, then this route is going to be something that you have. And then just kind of depending a little bit on, what they do from a coverage perspective, you could get your corner route open or you could get the post open. The post will get open in a really unique spot, as you see right here. Really tight window throw, but it is an open throw, assuming they don't switch stick to it. And then if they don't switch stick to it, let's say they do switch stick to it, then you're going to have this backside corner route to the right-hand side here. You're going to see that slot fade is just going to do a really good job of clearing everything out. And then that little kind of inverted corner route is going to have a lot of time to be able to get over there. Obviously, these plays are a little bit longer developing. That's why I really like to block my running back consistently. It's also why I really like this combination right here. I think this combination is really, really good against pressure. You're going to have good pass protection, and you're going to be able to just simply take what the defense gives you over here on the left side. Now, again, another play that we didn't quite completely cover yet that I did want to cover here is the idea of a high-low on the left side with this backside post. So what you want to do on the left side, a couple things you can do. So I like curl routes in this game, and you're going to see that if we run this play, this is going to be a really good little pocket to hit a curl route in if they're starting to hard flat on that left side or potentially play some different coverages. Another route, though, that you have access to is you have a speed out. So what I like to do to the speed out is stem it right about 10 yards. And what'll happen is if they're playing a hard flat, a lot of times you'll be able to throw this speed out on the sideline. Now, I will say in college football, it's a little bit more it's a little bit tighter of a throw, so you might want to stem him downfield a little bit more to get a little bit better separation. Because you'll see here the hard flat will really bite down on that, and then you can hit that speed out to the left side. Also, this is another little thing that's kind of a bigger picture issue with this game. I don't think speed outs are as good in college football as they are in Madden. So you could just curl him. If you want to just curl him, just go for it. That's totally fine. But this play just has a lot of different things that you can do. Against cover 3, you'll see that the curl will not pull a third, which is, kind of one of the things that you want to have happen. So that's where I, go back to the speed out, is the speed out more than likely will pull that third on the left side. Another route you could use is you could just use a basic corner route. Now, the basic corner route is good, again, for pulling the third, and it does get a pretty nice depth, and because it's a short side throw, you can actually kind of fit that corner route in a little bit better than you might think. So anyway, this is just another one of those plays that I like to have. So you see, I'm just going to pass it down outside, possession catch on the sideline like that. That's an option that you have as well. So that's pretty much it for this play. The only thing I wanted to talk about briefly here was this play against a cover 2. And the reason I wanted to talk about this play against a cover 2 is because the streak is going to pull the mid-read and the deep half, and there's going to be a window kind of deep against a cover 2 that is really nice to be able to hit, because in this game, it's really hard to consistently get great routes to be able to attack cover 2. Another little tip with attacking cover 2 in this game is you could run something like this, where, we're going to run this kind of backside post, but we're going to give him a little bit more space to be able to work that middle of the field. And as you see, kind of the same idea is what is going to occur. So again, it's just one of my favorite all-around plays, primarily for the post route on the right side. There's a lot of routes that you can kind of build around with this post. One of them being a simple underneath kind of 5-out meshing combination with the running back in route. But this is kind of essentially a double post out of the bunch spread nasty. So we've been kind of attacking different parts of the field, but really the most important part of the field to be able to attack, and the safest part of the field to be able to attack in bunch, is really the bunch side. So what we're going to do to attack that is we're going to go to this play orbit shallow cross. What makes this play so effective is you have this kind of unique slot fade on the right-hand side of the screen. So what I like to do for my setup is I'm going to streak my slot receiver. I'm going to put my tight end on a corner, and I'm going to stem him all the way down so it's like a sharper cutting corner route. If you want to leave this backside receiver on his shallow, that's fine. You could also just re-drag him. But this little combo right here is super good against zone. The seam streak on the right side is going to pull the inside guy. The deep slot fade is going to pull that outside quarter. And then the corner route is going to be able to get over pretty much every single zone in the game. Whether it be cover 2, whether it be cover 3, whether it be cover 4, you're going to be able to really strongly attack this right side. You can leave this corner route up just a little bit. I would not run a standard corner route. I would at least stem him down 1, if not just stemming him down all the way. Now against cover 2, another thing that's nice about that is that slot fade pulls that deep half, and so you're able to get that over the top consistently. What this basically forces them to do is this basically forces them to switch stick to the soft squat defender to essentially go guard the corner route. That's pretty much what is going to happen, okay? If you're playing a good player, obviously you're going to be able to just throw it if they don't do that. But if they do that, they're going to probably switch stick to try to go take away the corner route. So we're just simply going to check down to our drag right underneath of that high read over the top. As you can see, you're just going to get really, really nice, consistent separation within that feature. Now, this play is really good against zone. It's okay against man coverage. It depends a little bit on, kind of how they're defending you in man coverage. Really, the main route against man, of course, is going to be this drag route. The corner route can get separation against man. It's just a little bit dependent on shading and things like that. The slot fade can get over the top, but if they have safety help, they have safety help. But that slot fade can get over the top. So just kind of, again, you're still just going to look at that right to left and high to low reads. But it is worth just mentioning that, sometimes that slot fade can get crazy separation against man press. The other thing that slot fade is going to do is that slot fade is going to pull, it's going to pull the deep half out of the way in case the slot receiver gets over the top. Of course, your corner route is going to normally win. It doesn't always win. Again, it just depends on what are the shading adjustments that your opponent is doing. So, obviously can't 100% control that. And play to play, it could be something on one play and something on a different play. But in general, these are good routes to have against man. The other thing about this play that I think is really important to just mention is when we talk about man coverage, one of the best man coverage beating routes in the game is just a basic drag. And of course, as I say that, he's not going to beat man until later. But normally the drags will, at some point, normally the drags will get consistent separation, really regardless of the man coverage that you're facing. Now, that being said, I'm going to give you a little bit of a free kind of tip here with this. One of the other things you can do, let's say they're playing man-to-man coverage. If you wheel the running back and you put this guy on a short cross on this left side, those two routes together kind of can create a little bit of a natural rub. And that short cross did not do what I thought he was going to do there. They can create a little bit of a natural rub. I'll show you one other thing you can do with it. We don't necessarily have to use the short cross. The short cross kind of failed there. But what you can do is this. So you can go with a running back wheel, or if you think they're not having any safety help over the top on the left, because like what people will do against bunch spread is they'll put this guy in the middle third, 100%. So if you notice this is something that they're doing, you're going to get your running back isolated on this outside guy. If he has good speed, he could potentially go over the top against that player. So that's option A, okay? Using a wheel route to kind of at least force them to have to guard the running back and potentially be able to take advantage of it if they don't have the safety help. Option number 2, though, is this right here, where we're going to just run a running back on kind of one of two routes. I'm going to show you both of them. The first one is using the running back Texas route. The only problem with the running back Texas route is he can sometimes not get in the proper spacing with the drag. So you'll see here, see how the running back Texas kind of ran it before the drag? That's not ideal. But the route does pretty much consistently beat man-to-man. So you have that going for you. The running back Texas route, in my opinion, is the best one for beating man consistently. That being said, the other route that you can use with this running back is you can use him on a post. I would recommend stemming this post down so that he runs it rather quickly here. And what you're going to see is he's going to get pretty good inside position. You pretty much always want to possession catch that post throw. You don't really want to try to rack catch it, because for some reason on that particular throw, a lot of times the route can, I'm trying to figure out how to word it. Like the route will kind of get a weird animation and he'll almost get like a catch tackle. So just kind of keep that in mind. You don't even have to necessarily stem the post down. You can just call the post. You'll see he'll kind of wrap around really nicely, but you really do want to have that possession catch animation where he's diving like that. That is extremely, extremely effective in terms of just giving you consistency against man coverage. It's also good against zone. So if you want to send 5 out, this is a good option for sending 5 out. We have great clear out. We have a great clear out on this right-hand side, and we have the ability now to have a post. What's nice about the post is it's a super late developing route that's going to actually get thrown right in that little pocket right there. Super good if you don't have to worry about pressure. One of my favorite routes in the game this year. So that is the play orbit shallow cross against a variety of coverages. Obviously, there's more than just one setup, but this is one of the better setups from this play. The next play we're going to be going over is the play seam divide. This play has a ton of use in this year's game, and I'm just going to show you kind of a unique window that you can get against cover 4 within this play. So really simple setup. You're just going to streak this right side receiver, and then you're going to put the back on a block. You're just going to have a high-low read here. But basically what happens is this streak will clear out the deep zones, and then you can actually aggressive catch this tight end in the seam in kind of a unique way that most people really don't do in this year's game. So the other thing about this play, seam divide, is it's one of the better plays in the game for attacking, any zone really, but also for just simply attacking the middle of the field in a variety of different ways. The other thing about this play is I'm going to take a look at this real quick against match coverage. I'm actually going to just, let me just come out in the cover 4 quarters. Match coverage is actually pretty good in this year's game. There's a lot of reason to, really like match coverage this year. So this play, seam divide, one of the plays that's been good for years at just attacking, match coverage based defenses as we get a crazy red there. But what you're able to do against match here is you can actually throw this ball essentially like right as the tight end cuts upfield. So you see how they don't really match him early. You can just kind of consistently hit that tight end route against match coverage. So again, it's not the best match beater in the world, but it's a consistent one that you're going to be able to use to be able to break down match coverage. The other thing about this play is this is a really good play against man coverage. The reason why it's so good is because you have a stock crosser. And stock crossers in this game, especially the shorter ones, they normally get pretty good separation against the man coverage. Of course, as I say that, I didn't get great separation there, but we'll try it one more time. And again, we'll just, actually I accidentally audible to this play. Little screamer off the left side there. Shout out to the Bill Belichick's, the fighting Bill Belichick's. But anyway, let's try one more time. So seam divide. I'll show you some other things you can do with seam divide that I think are kind of unique as well, but I just want to go over the short crosser here. You got the crosser or the drag, one of those two routes. Pretty consistent against man. I don't know why the crosser is being weird. What a lot of people will do, though, I will say this. What a lot of people will do is they will actually route commit. They will actually route commit the slot receiver outside, because oftentimes the slot receiver is on a corner route in most offenses. So that's where you'll see here, if we route commit him outside, you see he's a little bit more open. I got yelled at there on the defensive tackle position. I don't know what happened there. But anyways, the other thing about seam divide that is kind of good is you can slot fade this right side guy and kind of create a little bit of a verticals idea where you have a slot fade, you have a tight end wheel, and then you can streak and backside in route like this, to a degree, kind of like a verticals-esque play. And you'll see that this tight end route really just gets into a super soft spot. And again, it just depends a little bit on like what they're calling coverage-wise and what their zone drops are on. But one of the things that will happen here is you'll see I can throw this tight end kind of right in front of that yellow zone. Now, if there is a yellow zone right there that's going to back up like that all the time, then what you have is you just have the ability to simply just check it down to your running back. Great awareness on the field there, buddy. Let's try one more time. Yeah, just check it down right in here, and then now you got some free yardage that way. So all this game is offensively is it's just all about creating different types of high-low reads and also giving yourself good chance to be able to beat man-to-man. The other thing I forgot to mention about man-to-man is you can do some of this stuff. On this play, you have a delayed kind of zig. The deeper zigs are a little better for beating man. He actually did not beat man well. So maybe that's just Clemson's receivers, but something else to note. The other thing I was going to say about man coverage with this play, seam divide, is it doesn't have to be this play. It's really any play. The simple thing here is we're just going to use this crosser, and then we're going to kind of create a makeshift play. This is decent against man. So if they do run man, we have the crosser, we have the running back Texas, and then we have this tight end zig and the speed out. So you'll see that this tight end zig will normally get pretty decent separation against man to man. You have the running back Texas that gets good separation against man. And then occasionally this speed out will actually get pretty good separation against man. They can't press the tight end. And then see that stem down speed out against man coverage just does a really good job if you're able to get him, kind of off of the jam. Another underrated setup, in my opinion, is you can speed out the tight end. So if you go to seam divide, we're kind of effectively using this short crosser as like a post. But basically, we could go with a motion slant. And you'll see here the ability to just motion him across, get him off the jam, and then you kind of have the good old-fashioned slant post combination, that has been good for beating man coverage for a very, very long time within this game. So those are a couple of good setups out of that play. And then we have this play here, Z swirl in. The reason I like this play is because it's going to there's a lot of ways to run this against man. A lot of ways to run this against really anything. But it's really this return route on the right side. This return route is a little deeper than the stock return. Like if I put an actual return route on the field, you see that it's not as exaggerated as a cut. So this one has a little bit deeper of one. So what I like to do here is I'm going to streak this left side or this right side slot receiver. I'm going to drag or slant my tight end. That's kind of up to you. If you want to put the running back on a route, you can, or you can block him. We'll just put him on a drag like this. And then what we're going to do on the left side here is we're going to take this receiver and we're going to put him on kind of, again, up to you what version of it you want to do. You can put him on a post. You can put him on a deep crosser. But I think the best is the in route stemmed up to about 15 yards. And you just have very simple high-low reads. That in route really gets into a nice soft spot, and that clear out streak really clears the space out for you to be able to hit, kind of that backside in. The one thing I would say, though, in this year's game is that I've noticed that in routes really run pretty slow. That's where I'm starting to actually like a post on this outside guy here. And you'll see he'll just run a little cleaner. He still kind of gets to the same area of the field, but he just gets there a little faster and a little bit more efficiently. The other thing about this, again, I cannot stress this enough, guys, you want to be taking your flats, you want to be taking your drags in this game. And so you're going to see right here that the yellows and the flat zones, they back up super far. We can just take that easy drag and get, very, very easy yardage, which is going to then force them to hard flat, which then is obviously going to open up our post. It might open up our backside return, all of those kind of little features here. So you see, look how that post just gets into a nice soft spot, and you have the clear out in kind of the right position to be able to really attack over there on the right side. Again, one of the more popular coverages in this game is going to be cover two. What's nice about this play is you have pretty good reads against cover two. Again, this return route is really, really consistent. And then you have that backside kind of post in a really unique position. So all in all, this is one of my favorite plays. Another way that you can run this play that I really like is you can actually put a slot fade on this left side guy, put a drag to the tight end, and then you can either put a post or a crosser, up to you. But watch how this play just kind of spaces out really, really well, and it allows you to attack that left sideline in a really, really efficient way. And again, we're able to block the running backs. We're able to have good protection really with the whole thing. And then we have, kind of our backside return route. I love the slot apprentice. I love the slot crossers this year for attacking man coverage. I just think they're one of the better routes in the game. And then when you pair that with a return route, this return route, you'll see it's a little bit more exaggerated. He just gets really clean separation, and you're able to attack the defense. So these are some of my favorite plays out of the Kentucky offense, out of the bunch spread nasty formation. I got a nice run out of here as well that you can utilize against a lot of the meta defenses, especially the double mug defense, and be able to get some good yardage out of it. One of the quick tips I have for you about the run is if you hand the ball off to the running back on the right, if your quarterback's right-handed, hand it off with your running back on the right, you'll get a better handoff animation, and it will be a little bit more efficient. Other big tip for this formation is, in general, you do want to run this with your bunch to the wide side of the field, as it's just going to provide for the best spacing possible. But I want to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you want to check out any of my full offensive or defensive ebooks for college football or for Madden, you can get access to all of them all together in one library in our school community for just $10. That link is going to be down in the description below, and would encourage you to go check out the school site.